Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is MrYorkiesWorld. Apologies about the lack of content on the channel, but we are back. In the 737-800 today, we're going to be taking Yorkie Airways, or MrYorkiesWorld 541. This is a custom MrYorkiesWorld livery. We're going to be taking it from EGFF, which is Cardiff, all the way to EGPH, which is Edinburgh. Again, I do apologise for the lack of content. I've had a hell of a lot of things going on, including purchasing the brand new Aerosoft Airbus A318, A319 professional package, which has included a lot of sort of training and stuff. So, if we go to fuel, I need to change this over to pounds. I always do that. It's my personal preference. Let's just have a look. So, LBS pounds, there we go. The actual fuel that we're going to be taking for today is £11,973. So, 11,973. Put that in there. So again, I do apologise about the, again, like the lack of videos and stuff like that. I've been extremely busy getting used to the Aerosoft Airbus. But we can be sure of one thing, and that is new videos are going to be coming very, very soon. I'm hoping to get the very first Airbus flight done very, very soon as well. Our flight altitude today is going to be 350, or cruise altitude. We can align the IRSs. And, yeah, so we can set the transponder. We need to set it to XPDR. You'll have to excuse me today, for some reason I cannot speak. Requesting clearance.
MYA541 with the ATIS request clearance. MYA541. Expect clearance within 2 minutes. Roger.
So we expect clearance within 2 minutes, that's fine. I'm just setting up the MCP and everything. We've set the auto brake to RTO. VORs, data and traffic and everything there on. So that's okay. This is a new version of P3D as well, P3D 4.3. So I'm hoping there's a little bit of a performance increase, or improvement at least. But maybe, maybe not, you never know.
MYA541, are you ready to copy? We're ready, go ahead.
So here we go with the clearance.
MYA541, cleared to EGPH at the BCN1 Bravo and is filed. Climb and maintain flight level 60. Expect flight level 350. Departure on 118.35.
So 6,000 is the initial altitude, we'll stick that in now. And I seem to have put the heading in the speed hold selector, which is a bit of an amateur mistake. 120 it needs to be, there we go.
Departure frequency 118.35, squawk 2216, QNH 1022.
So we can go into the FMC, pause in it.
MYA541, readback correct.
Echo Golf, Foxtrot, Foxtrot. And we're at gate number 8 today. GPSL, stick that in there. Route, EGFF to EGPH is going to be our flight plan today. We've got a company route. Like so. And runway 12 is our departure runway. Our flight number is MYA, Mike Yankee Alpha 541. So Mr. Yorkie Airways, or MrYorkiesWorld, whatever you want to call it. Perfect. Zero fuel weight 121.8. Our reserves are going to be 1.04. Not 10.4. 1.04. Cost index we're going to set at 35 for MrYorkiesWorld liveries, and 6,000 is on the transition altitude, with 350 being our cruise altitude for today. 24k D rate with flaps 5. 23.4 on the centre of gravity. And if we look over at EFB, we can get the winds. So that's 082 at 10 knots. Like so. There's the V-speeds. V2 is 143. We can close the doors, or open the doors. I'm not getting the green information bar for some reason on GSX. But nevertheless, clear that warning. Right, okay, so depart, we're going to be using the BCN-1 Bravo departure from runway 12. So there it is. And if we look at the legs page, we shouldn't have any discontinuities. That's the departure there, nice and simple. No discontinuities, that's all good. So fix information. So EGPH, we're going to use our regular 50, 100 and 150 mile rings just for my own personal reference. And while I do set up the aircraft, again, the first Aerosoft flight is going to be very, very soon. I might even share with you, because I have taken off in the aircraft a few times, but I'm not 100% familiar with it just yet, so I still need to sort of get used to everything. So I might share with you some of my trial and error sessions at getting to learn it. I'm not a believer in reading the manual. I like to just jump in the same way as I did with the NGX with this aircraft here. I like to just jump in and learn things as I go along. So I find that to be the best way. So nevertheless, we can see that the catering is just coming out of the aircraft at the moment, going in and out and delivering some lovely food for us. So we will soon be able to start the boarding process, get ourselves out of here and stuff like that. Again, the reason I'm doing this as well, the UK and Ireland tour, is because I really wanted to get the tour completed, because we started it quite a while ago and it's still not been done yet. So hopefully we should be okay. So let's request boarding. And we are, of course, going to need to wait for the catering. But anyways, I will catch up with you guys once all the catering, the passengers and everything like that have been boarded onto the aircraft. Okay guys, so that's everybody on the aircraft. We are literally just closing the doors. And we should be pretty much ready to go. So we can prepare for pushback and departure. We'll use service air. I have no idea why we're doing tail right. Close the cargo doors as well. We don't want those open. And while we're at it, we could also remove the ground connections, because we don't need those either now.
Good day, sir.
Auto throttle's armed. Hydraulics are on. Anti-collision light. We don't need anything else really, to be honest. We should be okay. A nice short flight today for the UK and Ireland tour. Only 273 nautical miles. It should take about an hour and 2 minutes, according to FlightAware, but you never know. It might take a little bit longer. It does say 11:21 AM, but I think it's actually 12:21.
MYA541.
So we might end up with the times getting messed up a little bit. So been approved for pushback and start.
Bypass pin is inserted. Apron's now clear, ready to push. Now release parking brakes, please.
And we can release the parking brakes. Now the pushback from gate number 8, or stand 8, is a little bit iffy. We're going to have to stop it a little bit early, because otherwise the aircraft actually goes over the taxiway and onto the grass. So we need to sort that out, but nevertheless, just going to spool up the engines. I'm not going to bother waiting while 25%, we'll do it at about 15. This is Yorkie Airways, so we do what we like. And there's engine number 2. Again, a lovely repaint from Frequent Sim Pilot, and I will post a link to his channel in the description. It's not the final version, we're still working on a few things, but I'm happy with it so far. It's nice and simple. We didn't want anything too strenuous. So we're going to stop the pushback and start procedure here, or thereabouts, because as you can see we would actually get pushed back over onto that grass, which obviously we don't want that to happen, so...
Push now complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Start engine number 1. Parking brakes can be set. Again, we'll release some fuel at about 15%. There we go. Not too fussed. Everybody should know by now, this is not the sort of channel that follows the rules. I like to do things my way.
Disconnected and clear. Bypass pin is approved.
And there's engine number 1. Right. Okay, so with that, we can wait for the engine to fully spool up before we change them to continuous. Transfer the power. Probe heats can come on. We can, of course, switch on the packs. The APU bleed can come off, and the APU can come off.
Now have a good one. Oh, wait.
Taxi and turn-offs. Can set the trim and the flaps, so flaps 5. And just centralise the trim there at number 5 as well. See those flaps coming down? Slowly, there we go. So as I said, the Aerosoft A319 or A31819 package has been purchased for the channel at the time of making this video. And we're going to go ahead and see what that's like in an upcoming video. I've just got to get used to it so far. That's what all I've been doing. That's part of the reason that there's been a little bit of a delay in videos. I think everybody's aware already of the other reasons as well. I've already made a video about it. So, here we go. We're getting a little bit of stuttering at the time of this video. I've actually changed some settings since making this video though. So hopefully in the next flight it might be a little bit smoother. But as I always say, the thing with P3D is you can't have a perfectly smooth sim at the same time as having an absolutely fantastically looking sim without some serious compromises in either quality or performance. But we're dead on with the taxiway as we head down to the runway. And again, this is UK 2000 Cardiff, and we're also going to be flying into UK 2000 Edinburgh as well. We've already seen Edinburgh, we've already seen Cardiff. Welcome to Cardiff International Airport, it says over there. We've already seen these two airports outside of the tour. In fact, no, we've seen them in the tour as well, I think. I don't know. We've seen them both in and out of the tour. But nevertheless, I'm going to actually put up a map of the tour. You can see that this is the map, if I can edit it in, with all the steps on, so we've got all the flights and where we're going to be going. It's only a small tour, and this particular flight, as I said, we're going to be flying approximately 273 nautical miles, which takes an hour and 2 minutes. We are using MYA541, or MrYorkiesWorld 541, a custom livery, in the Boeing 737-800 today. So with that, and of course our flight altitude is 350, but with that, that is all I have. That's the tour, that's the flight, that's what we're going to be doing. Nothing too special. It's quite a long taxiway this, but it doesn't take 2 minutes really to get down it. So we're approaching runway 12.
Mike Yankee Alpha 541 Tower 125.0.
125.0 MYA541.
You can see the runway threshold is just up here to the left, and we'll stop there and just request permission to actually take off, and then we can line up and everything. I was thinking of making this video into the tutorial video for the PMDG 737, but we'll have to do that another time. I really need to get this tour done. So here we go. We're at the threshold. Almost. See if we can actually stop on the line. Maybe just a little bit short of it, I don't really care.
Hold it short at runway 12, ready for departure.
MYA541. Line up runway 12.
Line up runway 12, sorted. So we've just configured the aircraft. Transponder is to TA and RA, and we can test it as well because we forgot to do that. Parking brake released. And TCAS has passed, that's all good. No traffic to the right. There certainly isn't going to be any traffic to the left. And this is going to be a bit of a messed up lineup. Oh no, we're sort of okay.
MYA541, wind 090 at 10, runway 12, cleared for takeoff.
Start the clock, clear for takeoff. 40%. And toga. Hear the roar of the engines. Airspeed's alive. $80 knots. V1. Rotate. Nice controlled rotation, there we go. Positive rate, gear up. Look at that view. Gorgeous. I'm going to try and follow the flight director as best I can, manually. Lock the gear. Auto brakes off. We can switch the engines to normal and the runway turn-offs can come off. Just trying to keep the aircraft following the flight director there. It's a little bit difficult at the moment. Flaps can start coming up. And we can bring them up another notch. Flaps 1. And we can bring them all the way up now. So, we're in the air, still on manual control. But that's likely going to change in a few minutes. Just going to try and keep the aircraft under control as best I can. For some reason there's a little bit of a performance hit on takeoff. And it appears to be not just in the NGX, but also in other aircraft. I don't know whether that's something that's still not been fixed from P3D 4.2, because it still happens here in 4.3. So like panning around and stuff like that, the performance is a little bit poor. It's quite stuttery, if you will. But and there doesn't seem to be anything that I've changed. So, right, autopilot control. Nice window view. See what I mean? It seems a little bit choppy there. More choppy than what I'd like it to be. Standard pressurisation now, or thereabouts. Possibly a little bit early. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into why the sim's doing that. I don't actually know why it's doing it, but we'll get there. 6,000 on the initial altitude to just make sure that's bugged in. There's the legs page. Yeah, so I keep clearing the shaders before I run the sim every time, and that definitely helps in terms of performance and texture loading. But I might have to look into why the choppiness happens. But look at this livery, absolutely amazing. Again, thank you very much to Frequent Sim Pilot. There are other variants on other aircraft available for this livery as well. Let's just direct to D167 November, because we've got a little bit of a weird waypoint in the middle there. Okay, there we go. So we're going to go direct to that now, 167N. Just set that heading on the heading selector, just for the sake of it. Since we're going directly to that waypoint. Gorgeous views, gorgeous clouds. Active Sky Cloud Art and Rex Skyforce are responsible for these particular textures, along with the PTA tool. All of my add-ons are down in the description on the add-ons spreadsheet, which at the moment may look a little bit empty because I'm in the middle of reinstalling all the sceneries and stuff after doing a fresh P3D 4.3 installation. But there we go. So it should be on profile now, turning on to that waypoint that we had to go direct to. And in a few minutes we can have a look at some cinematics. Lovely wing view. I thought it was pretty fitting to have a MrYorkiesWorld livery. I've been wanting one for a long time and I've been thinking about making one. I did have one at one point, but I decided to get it remade by one of my friends over on Discord there. But anyways, we will jump to some cinematics and I'll see you guys in just a bit.
Yankee Alpha 541, descent to flight level 230.
Descent into flight level 230, MYA541.
Right, so as you just saw, welcome back guys, altitude is 230 that we've got to hit now. We've set the auto brake to 2. We are literally getting ready now to begin the descent, or we already have. And if we go over to EFB, we can see the approach that we're going to be using, which is a runway 06, ILS runway 06. I'm not sure what transition, but we can activate it regardless. This is going to be the approach and the arrival. So 108.9, 063 on the course, and 335 on the decision altitude. They are our magic numbers, or those are our magic numbers. So we can start off. I do apologise about the lag. We can set the minimums. 335, and we can do the same on the other side as well.
22906, maintain present altitude.
Maintain present altitude, easy 22906.
Like so. We can set the frequencies over here, so 108.9er, and put the other one in as well, 108.9er. Might as well activate it now. Traffic, oh my goodness. Directly in front of us by the looks of it. There it is. That is an EasyJet Airbus randomly flying towards us. You've got to love Pro ATCX, or should I say Ultimate Traffic Live, but Pro ATCX essentially takes control of it and tells it where to go, so I think what I will do is use vertical speed in a few minutes. Let's try and use level change. I probably should be increasing the speed instead of decreasing it. Is it going to work? No, I think we're going to go into vertical speed mode and just take control manually, just so we get down to the altitude that we need to be in time. So init ref, we're going to be using flaps 30 at 140. Hopefully we're going to get some replays as well of the landing. 061 on the course. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is basically it. We've programmed ourselves for landing. There's not much else we can do. Again, absolutely fantastic livery. I've got to give another shout out to Frequent Sim Pilot. Another aircraft up there. But in the meantime, I'll catch up with you guys when we're a little bit closer to landing. Okay guys, so if you look on the ND, or the navigation display, as we come through the clouds here, you can see the ILS feathers. We are literally just a few minutes away from landing. An awesome window view there from the cockpit as we come through the clouds. Current time is 12:35. We've had to mess around with that a little bit, because again, the clock in the sim is not right. I've not actually installed the Timezone Fixer that I usually use that solves that problem. There is a time zone. I can't remember who made it actually, but it's a useful little tool that you can install, and it basically corrects the time zones and stuff inside of the sim. It's for FSX and for P3D. Right, so 12:14 and it's 12:35, so apparently we're going to go back in time. So yeah, that's why the clock's wrong. But I've had a few people tell me that it's because it's in UTC. However, that's not entirely correct, because the sim itself doesn't always have the correct timings, and it's been a long-term problem for a long time in the sim. A lot of people have made complaints about it. So it's literally just a case of either using the Timezone Fixer or waiting for Lockheed Martin to release some sort of fix. But the amazing wing view coming through those clouds. Not too far away from landing at the minute. We should be vectored onto the course that we need to be on in just a few moments. We're still at 7,000 feet, so we're going to have to take a dive. But that should be fine. We're at 240 knots. I try and keep it as slow as I can without needing to extend too many flaps. We're at flaps 2 at the minute. I don't really want to take it down to flaps 5 until we really have to, so I'm going to maintain 240. You can see that's where we're going to be sort of turning so that we intercept. Here we go. 4,000 and 020.
Right turn,
020. And you can see on the navigation display that we should be intercepting at the perfect time. I'm going to reduce the speed down a little bit. Might have to employ some speed brakes. Flaps can come down to 5 just to help with slowing us down a little bit. Because our approach speed, final approach speed, is going to be 140. So I'm going to use some vertical speed. We need to use rather a lot of it because we're at 7,000 and we need to be at 4,000. Which of course means that our speed is going to increase. But so we can try and counteract that. Looking good. Amazing clouds. Lovely wing view. Not sure what's happened to the auto gen. I think that's a problem in 4.3. I don't know. 6,000 feet now. Or we're coming out of 6,000.
Approach, tower at the marker, 180.7, MYA541.
Speed's holding nicely at 233. VOR lock. And we've locked on. Now, as a rule, I shouldn't really engage approach hold because the aircraft will attempt to dive rather rapidly, but we do need to be down rather rapidly, so I'm going to do it regardless, and I'm still going to employ those speed brakes. We're going to be asked to reduce down to our final approach speed very shortly anyway, so we can start to bring that speed back then. You can see the aircraft has dived to try and keep on profile. Seem to be alright though, we're levelling off with the diamonds coming in. It's going to be quite a short final by the time we're done. Arm the speed brakes again. Speed starting to drop back. And as we come through the clouds...
Tower MYA541 on final, runway 06.
Mike Yankee Alpha 541, slow 2,
Final approach speed.
1023, clear to land, runway 06.
And we've been cleared to land, perfect. So I am going to use the speed brakes again in just a few seconds, just to take us back down to that speed we need to be at. We probably could reduce it without those, but it just means messing around, and we need to get the flaps out and the gear out and stuff. Could probably have planned it a little bit better, Yorkie. Nevertheless, flaps are on the way down. That's flaps 10. Speed brake away. Gear down. Lovely view. A little bit bright, but should be okay. Flaps 15. 25. And once we get below 175, we can extend the flaps fully to flaps 30. Like so. So it all sort of pulls itself together. Lovely view on the way in. That's 1,000 feet. So we will disconnect. Autopilot's out, the aircraft is mine. Try and lift that nose up a little bit. Try and control the aircraft as best I can. Looking good on the diamonds, a little bit high. We can always correct that. And the diamonds are coming back in nicely now. A little bit to the right of the runway, so we're just going to correct. 2 reds, 2 whites. Now I've said that, that's probably going to change. Or not. Trying to sort of fight a little bit of wind. We've got a headwind at the minute. It is at sort of an angle. A little bit low. Not too concerned at this stage though. Landing. Yeah, I'm not too concerned now. We're looking okay.
50, 30, 20, 10.
And a little bit of a floater. But we're down. Speed brakes up. Decel. Reverses. .80 knots.
Alpha 541, gate is right. Contact ground on 121.
Still the reverses. Auto brake off.
121.75.
Manual braking. Would have liked to take the exit to the right there. We should have used auto brake 3, but a bit too late for that. Nevertheless, though, we are down. We kept the centre line. It was a pretty good landing. Not perfect, but since when did we see a perfect landing here with MrYorkiesWorld? Never. Apart from once or twice when I've been extremely lucky. Very foggy down here. Very foggy indeed. And as soon as we pull off the runway, I'm not going to lift the flaps up just yet because it messes up the replay. So we're going to leave the flaps as they are, and then we'll take a look at the replay and see how we did. Right at the end of the runway. So sort the lights out now, we might as well. Hopefully it won't mess up the replay. But nevertheless. So let's take a look at the replay and see exactly how we did. Well, I've got to say, I was pretty impressed. Having looked at the actual replays, it was a pretty smooth landing. Pretty impressed. Apologies about the sound loss. I am literally just programming that gate into EFB, which is going to be gate 6, terminal number 1. Start the APU. Release the parking brake, and we can begin our taxi. So let's set up GSX. So there we go. Gate 6, serve air or service air or whatever. We'll use that. I haven't yet created a custom GSX livery for the MrYorkiesWorld livery, but there we go. I'll have to make that in the future. So that was a pretty good flight. Welcome everybody to Edinburgh. This is part number 3 of the UK and Ireland Tour 2018. And hopefully part number 4 will be up very, very soon as well. So I'm just sorting out the MCP. We can switch the transponder off now. I'm hoping the audio quality in terms of my microphone is doing well. I've been having some problems recording with Premiere Pro, so I do apologise if this commentary is a little bit choppy or something like that. I've no idea. I am just sick of going over it over and over again and trying to re-record it. So what you see is what you get. Or what you hear is what you get. But nevertheless. So everything's okay down there. We can switch over the frequencies back to what they were default. We can make our way to gate number 6. which shouldn't be too far down here. I think it's the next turning on the left. Not this one, but the next one. Gotta say, it's quite interesting coming back after all this time. I've not done a flight in quite a while. So, flying the 737 again, an aircraft which I am pretty familiar with, is it's quite nice. It's really nice. Especially as I'm learning another aircraft at the same time as well. I'm learning the Airbus. So, apologies about any mistakes that I make. It seems that we were using some reserve fuel there by the looks of it. The fuel seems it's in yellow figures. But nevertheless, we're fine. We had plenty. We could have probably done a go around with that as well. And number 6 is just down here, so I'm going to switch the lights off. Here's number 8. Oops. Throttling up too much, and I probably will throttle up again too much when it comes to turning into the gate. So let's give that a go. So here we are. Just round this way. Yep, I knew that was going to happen. Edinburgh, you can see on the terminal building. And let's see if we can do a good job of lining up. In fact, I'm going to use a gear view. Let's have a look. Right. This is going to be as precise as anything. Don't want to add too much power. Just enough to keep us going. And there we go, I think. Perfect. Parking brake is set. We are indeed perfect by the looks of it. The GSX guy usually does a dance. I don't know why he's not doing it. But nevertheless, right. Transfer the APU power. Ah, that's why we weren't exact, but nevertheless. Cut the engines. We can connect ground power. And we can request deboarding. Let's take an outside view. Look at that. Jetway's already lined up, I think. Unless that's... No, it's supposed to be like that. I just tried control J-ing it, but... Let's just control J it again, just to get rid of that mistake, because it looked like it was in perfect working order. Nevertheless, doors. Open them up. Forward and aft.
Baggage handling is complete and the aircraft is clear.
Well, that was quick. And I forgot the flaps. Look at that. Perfect. Let's retract those before we do anything else. Amateur mistake. Probe heat's off. They should have been switched off when we landed. APU... Oh, what an idiot. There we go. Ground power needs to be connected. There we go. I think that's about it. I think that's all we can do, really. For now, anyway. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the flight. Welcome to Edinburgh. This has been part number 3 of the UK and Ireland tour. Look out for the next video coming very soon, and also look out for the Aerosoft Airbus, which is going to be coming very, very soon to the channel as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.